This is Violeta Parra. She was once called the mother of Latin American folk. In Chile, where she was born, she became the voice of the people, of poetry and protest. In Paris, where she lived, she became the symbol of a continent fighting for the right to create and express itself. In all places she visited, she was framed as a voice claiming for justice, peace, and love. However, she was not only a voice, she was also the hands that played a strong and defying guitar. Together, voice and guitar created a music that referred to the roots of South America while creating new music trends. Together, voice and guitar were eager to denounce cruelty, poverty, exploitation, inequality, and robbery.
Yo canto a la chillaneja si tengo que decir algo y no tomo la guitarra por conseguir un aplauso. Yo canto la diferencia que hay de lo cierto a lo falso, de lo contrario no canto. Les voy a hablar en serio.
Violeta was born in Chile, in the small town of San Fabian de Alico, in 1917. Her father was a music teacher, her mother a seamstress. Born into a poor family, she spent most of her childhood in a place called Chillán, where at an early age she began to sing and play the guitar in company of her three siblings, Hilda, Eduardo, and Roberto. In 1929, after her father's death, the family found itself in difficult conditions, which led Violeta to begin to work. In 1932, she moved to Santiago, capital of Chile, to attend the normal school. During the course, she had some music performances in the company of her siblings. In 1934, Violeta met Luis Cerceda, who would be her first husband and with whom she would have two children, Isabel and Angel. Violeta's husband was a militant communist, an influence that made Violeta become interested in politics and join the political movement. In 1948, Violeta's marriage came to an end. In the following year, she met her second husband, Luis Arce, with whom she would have two daughters. The marriage lasted a short time. In 1952, Violeta decided that it was time for her to travel in search of treasures. Her destiny, her own country, Chile. The riches she was looking for, traditional popular music, which lived hidden in rural places and poor areas, untouched by the media and unknown to most Chilean people. With a notebook and her guitar, she visited different parts of the country, learning rhythms and collecting tunes that she would subsequently record in a series of albums. In this way, she revealed Chile to Chilean people, unearthing musical jewels that had been buried in the mud of exclusion, delusion, and poverty. Unconsciously, Violeta became a folklorist, which enabled her to be invited for recitals and lectures in universities. In 1955, Chile had become too small for Violeta's ambitions and talents. She joined an international music festival in Poland. From there she traveled to France. In Paris, she met artists, philosophers, and painters, and recorded some songs. Before going back to her country, she also recorded songs in England. Back in Chile, she continued to campaign for the recognition of traditional Chilean music. With some international experience, however, Violeta had new expectations about what she might be. She envisioned a career where the artistic creation would be practiced as a form of militancy, but also as an expression of deep human feelings. She began to dedicate herself to ceramics, painting, and embroidery. She was then a pigeon ready for higher and higher flights.
Paloma ausente, blanca paloma, rosa naciente. Dice un papel escrito con tinta verde, que teniendo paciencia todo se alcanza. Una que bien la tuvo salió bailando de su jardín al arco de las alianzas. Paloma ausente, blanca paloma, rosa naciente.
On the 4th of October 1960, her birthday, Violeta met Gilbert Favre, a young clarinet and flute player from Switzerland. He was interested in traditional South American music and was an admirer of Violeta. Even though Violeta was never married with Gilbert and did not have children with him, he was the greatest love of her life. In 1962, Violeta joined another international festival, this time in Finland. From there she moved to Paris, where she spent 3 years in the company of Gilbert. In France, Violeta's musical talent had already been recognized. This time, however, she revealed her skills as a visual artist. In 1964, she became the first Latin American person to have a solo exhibition in the Museum of Decorative Arts of the Louvre.
Me han preguntado varias persónicas y peligrosicas para las másicas. Son las canciónicas agitadóricas, hay que preguntica más infantílica. Solo un piñuflico la formulárica, pa' mi sedéntrico yo comentárica. Le contestádico yo al preguntónico cuando la guática pide comídica. Pone al cristiánico firme y guerrérico por sus poróticos y sus cebúllicas. No hay regimiéntico que los detenga si tienen hambrica los populáricos.
In 1965, she moved back to Chile, accompanied by her partner Gilbert. The relation would not last much longer than this. In the same year, the couple broke up and Gilbert moved to Bolivia, where he joined a group of traditional South American music. In this way, part of Violeta's dreams failed her and moved northwards. Gilbert had gone northwards. Violeta decided to open a place called Peña. In Chile, a peña was a community center for arts and political activism. Carrying on with her old project, Violeta wished to be an artistic point of reference, around which old and young artists and activists would orbit, sharing music, projects, ideas, and dreams. A tent, similar to a circus tent, was built up to be the meeting point, the hub for those visionary people. It became Violeta's house, headquarters, and working place. However, Violeta was now living in a different Chile. The media often preferred to focus on modern music, turning its eye away from traditional expressions. Politically, the democratic government was being threatened by internal and external powers, which were joining forces and fabricating an impending military coup. In 1966, Gilbert, Violeta's former partner, visited the Peña with his group. However, he refused to stay, as he had married another woman in Bolivia. Violeta was carrying on her shoulders the weight of present and past hardships and illusions, which caused her an increasing existential pain. Sadness, depression, disappointment, anguish. Several words could be used to describe her state of mind and heart. It suffices to say that in 1967, on a day when she found herself alone in the Peña, Violeta took her last firm decision. With a gunshot to the head, she took away her own life.
Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me ha dado el oído, que en todo su ancho graba noche y día, grillos y canarios, martillos, turbinas, ladridos, chubasco, y la voz tan tierna de mi bien amado. Gracias a la vida.
This is the Yestay. He's a guanaco, a camelid native to South America. However, the Yestay is not an ordinary guanaco. He's thought to be the leader of all guanacos. His superiority is reflected in the exceptionally large size of this animal. This is only one of the forms that the Yestay can assume, though. At times, he may appear as an ordinary guanaco, at times as an old man with a long white beard, playing a wooden flute, at times as a gigantic monster capable of breathing fire like a dragon. The Yestay is son of Pachamama, the Earth Mother, from whom he received the mission to protect all guanacos and vicuñas. To do so, he threatens and frightens away the hunters whose purpose is to have fun or practice a sport by means of hunting. However, the Yestay is respectful towards poor people whose hunting is aimed to make ends meet, fight poverty, and secure some food for themselves and their families. In this sense, the Yestay is also a protector of the poor and oppressed, but responds to greediness and vanity with harshness and the fire of his guts. On a certain night of the year 1967, a group of students visited Violeta Parra's Peña. They listened to music played by traditional groups. Late in the night, Violeta herself took her guitar, got onto the improvised stage, and showed some songs she had recently written. As usually, her voice resonated strongly, filling the whole circles. Her guitar sounded powerful, marking the rhythm for assertive lyrics. On that night, inside the peña, a mythical being could be seen.